Welcome back to the Nerdycouch. We are here for what we are referring to as a nerdy chat. And we will be talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I'm going to introduce you to my nerdy friends. To this side right here, boom, yeah, only took one try. This is my brother, Rob,
How's it going, guys?
whom we refer to as Shotgun. How you doing, Rob?
I'm not too bad tonight. How are you, Nerdycouch?
Doing good. You are looking fantastic today,
Well,
I'd like
thank
to say. Underneath him, I'm going to refrain from saying below because it just sounds weird.
Drop stuff for me.
Underneath Shotgun, we have Chris the Grimm Myke. How you doing, Chris?
Today, which take in
again,
YouTube.
Looking wonderful with his glorious waved hair. You know, just it even froze up on it for a second just to have just for that nice little demonstration. And then underneath me, we have Rob Lee. How you doing, Rob?
Not too bad, you?
I noticed your hands are regular size today.
They are.
Wow.
That may change.
Yeah, if you guys don't understand that, then I'm sure that you'll find out. Monica, how are you today?
Hello, Monica.
Little hands is coming.
Monica.
So before we start the show, real quick, we didn't have a show yesterday because I was busy watching the Justice League Snyder Cut, and I got really into it around hour 7.
Oh my god! Yeah, I've heard it's lost an hour and a half or so.
Yeah. So, was the entire thing necessary? I don't know. Was it an improvement over the other regular one? Definitely. There were things I liked, things I didn't like, but we're not talking about that today. That's just an excuse. So, let's get into it. Before we get too far in, again, we'll issue a spoiler warning.
Spoilers.
So if you haven't seen episode 2 yet, we've got missing link here, station. Guys, if you don't know what station means,
station.
Go watch Bill and Ted. Happy to have you here, missing link. If anybody has not seen the episode 2 yet, go ahead and watch that and then catch us on the replay. I don't want to spoil anything for you. And also, we're going to do a bit of a content warning because as much as we're going to try to keep it, friendly for the younger folks, we cannot promise things get out of hand. What can you say, right? So, let's get on with it. Anything you guys would like to say before we get started with this? Any initial first thoughts?
Marvel's done it again. They just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Another great series that I've been enjoying. So.
Let's do a quick recap of the last episode. Not too much. I'm just going to let's let people know that if you didn't catch the last one, we ended up with a new Captain America, which didn't really fly with the Falcon, with Sam at all. He was a little sad about it. I think we were all a little sad about it. I was, at least. Ahoy, mate.
Ahoy, Captain.
Captain, welcome to the stream. We're just talking about that show. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let's get into it. So we start off with the new Captain America. What was his name again? John. Was it something Walker?
Yes.
John Walker. Yeah.
John Walker? Yeah.
Yep.
How quickly I forgot that name. So we started off with him in the old locker room, kind of reminiscing and stuff like that. Oh. And he has a chat with what I would assume is like an ex.
I think that might be his lady friend because we see her again later, kind of in the crowd when he's out there chatting too. So
Yeah.
also, I'd like to point out that my wife is incredibly disappointed that we've gone from Chris Evans to this gentleman.
Yeah. Like Bueller said last episode, he'd like to see Evans back in the role. Who knows? I think it's unlikely. Do you know what I mean?
Me too.
I think that by the end of this, we're going to see. Hello, Tinerius. How's it
Hello,
going? I think we're going to end up seeing one of the two main characters in this become or take on the mantle.
Yeah.
Most likely, it's going to be the Falcon.
I think so.
I don't agree
I
with
hope so.
You don't think so, Grimm?
No,
you. No, I don't.
I think so.
I'm still feeling Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Bucky. I mean, he definitely has the credentials, you know. Yeah, so we see them. They kind of have a little bit of a discussion about, you know, how the job's been going. Some time has passed here, by the sounds of it, and we get Hoskins come in, which is somebody that he knows from his military experiences, and they have a discussion about how he thought the job was going to be more action, and so far it's just a bunch of public appearances and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Which kind of mirrors Steve when he first started. He was just doing all the promotional stuff for the war and not really getting into the action much.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. They have this moment where it's like, you know, putting on the suit. It's a symbol, and you have to go through all that stuff. It's part of the job type deal, right? So then it cuts over to this big parade-esque thing at a football game or something like that. He's signing some merch, and I don't know whether this is his own Captain America or if he's just signing Rogers stuff. I don't but it's happening. He's embracing it. There's a full-on event, and then he ends up having a chat with having a bit of an interview where they discuss his credentials, right?
Which are pretty thick. Like, he's an impressive war dude, which I think is a little different than the comics.
Yeah. Now he's representing, although they're calling him Captain America, he's essentially representing the U.S. agent, right? And I'm not 100% sure about the backstory of the U.S. agent, other than the fact that I know that he does try to take the mantle, probably several times. So, he's got a lot of military training. They show a scene where he's training with the Shield and stuff like that. So he's a merited soldier. I think they said something along the lines of like he's the only person to have 3 medals of honor or something like that.
Yeah, they did mention that. Yeah.
So and he discusses how he's not Tony Stark and he's not Banner, and he doesn't have these superpowers. He's just trying to be the best he can be, type deal, right?
He's got courage.
Yeah, and guts. Guts is what they say. He's going to need a lot of guts apparently.
Yeah.
So
I still found he was still pretty fake here, even though they're lifting him up and talking about his credentials. He still seems like a fake superhero to me still.
Well, he is.
Yeah, really manufactured.
They're not making him out to be as much of a dick as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, and up to this point, and even later on, I think he almost comes off genuine for a certain period of time.
I think right up until that last piece that we see him.
Yeah,
like
and we'll get to that, and that's I think when we're really going to see a change in him. See that Bucky's watching, and
I love the decor. His apartment really has the feng shui that I'm looking for in my home.
Yeah, a little minimalist, like although the mess.
Yeah.
Did you see
just
that?
Throws his jacket on the floor like that.
What a messy guy! I thought he like in the military they would have, Missing Link says, "Station to captain." Yeah. So you see that, and then I had to take a little clip because when he first starts watching, he's, oh, what am I doing, Dan? Stop being a poop. Yeah, you can see him watching there, and then he's just like the expression on his face just turns to unhappy. All right, it's just he's like not happy at all. Clips over to Sam, and everywhere he looks, there's this propaganda on the walls and stuff like that.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
so angry,
and they're just selling Mr. Walker like a cheap piece of lingerie.
Which kind of when we're talking about John Walker and the agent, when he was the Patriot or whatever he was, he did like a whole like tour around doing press releases and stuff like that. So it's kind of throwbacky for the comic books and touches on that stuff too.
Yeah, very reminiscent about that. And then we get Bucky comes in, and he's pretty much right off the bat, he's like, why'd you give up the shield? All right.
Yeah, it was yours. What
yeah, like it's your responsibility, it's your honor. That's what the Cap wanted, right?
Maybe a little "Hey, how you been?" would have been appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Cool.
Well, Bucky's lacking some social skills. You got to remember that, right?
Yeah.
He just tells it how it is.
And this is
like Sam's lacking a little social skills himself, actually.
Yeah. This is where you see a little bit of back and forth between them that I really started to enjoy. They get into a bit of an argument about wizards and what does he say? The big three.
The big three.
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Androids, aliens, wizards.
And
Doctor Strange is a wizard without a hat.
Yeah, they get into an argument about whether Doctor Strange is a wizard or not. And then Bucky makes a reference about reading The Hobbit.
Yeah, when it came out.
Yeah.
When it was first released. I thought that was a nice little touch. And they're correct. Many people felt obligated to look that up and make sure it was a correct date. So they were correct on that. They did their homework. The back and forth between them seems really natural. And I really enjoyed it. Making this a superior episode to the first one, in my opinion.
Just right away, because of the that chemistry when we're well, I mean, this is the first scene that they're finally getting together, right? So.
Yeah, and it's almost a love-hate relationship between them.
Yeah, they're
right? Like they're kind of aggravated with each other. They go back and forth with a little bit of quims, and before Sam says that he's got to go after these guys, the flag smashers, and they've got a lead on where they are. Is it smashers or crushers or what?
Smashers, yeah, smashers. You gotta smash it.
You gotta smash it hard.
I like to smash.
Yeah. So they've got to go along, and Bucky's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna tag along." So they are awkwardly sitting in the helicarrier, the plane, or whatever it is. It's just a normal plane, I think. You can see here how happy they are to be together.
The staring contest is great.
Yeah,
it's solid.
Staring contest, by the way. We'll get to that.
They really want to fight each other. It looks like.
Yeah, they're. It's hard to see.
I like the little piece where Sam fake gets up, like he acts like he's gonna get up, and Bucky starts to get up.
Yeah, so, yeah. The
just a little psych.
Whole relationship between them carries on right from the other movies and stuff like that. Like it starts there and carries through here perfectly.
You kind of get the idea that Falcon does not want him there.
Yeah, I don't know. Look at he obviously wants him there.
When Bucky's saying, "What's the plan?" Oh, I have a plan.
Yeah,
see ya.
He has a plan. Won't tell him
nothing to do with you,
right? It says something along the lines of he calls him Bucky. Does he? What does he call him? Bucky? Buck? And he goes, "You can't call me that." Well, Cap used to call you that. Well, you're not Captain. Right?
Captain would have had a plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's like, "This is my plan. Your plan is you're going to jump out of the plane." Like he jumps out of the plane, leaving Buck there without a parachute. Yeah. It's too low.
Said it was too low for a parachute.
And then he says,
they were under 200 feet, man.
I don't need one anyway.
Yeah.
That.
Kind of like how he tore the arm off, revealing the Wakandan arm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was that necessary at all? Maybe he needs the room, you know? So, or he's just flexing, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta, if I had a giant vibranium arm, I'd be flexing too.
Yeah, just you know what? Got that? You know where I got that? Yeah, you can't imagine. Anyway, he's like, you know what? I don't need one, and he jumps. Has a bit of a hard landing.
Which Sam recorded.
Yeah. And he lands on the ground, and I didn't get a good picture of it, but you see Red Wing hovering above him, and he's like, "Get that thing out of my face!"
Yeah,
you know. So, just the way the trip down was just hilarious, just hitting branches and stuff like that. Just classic. So they. He gets directed into this warehouse where they meet, and
I like the little bit where he's sneaking up and he calls him White Panther, and he's like, actually, it's White Wolf.
Yeah, which Sam doesn't seem to get.
What?
Yeah, it is nice because it was a good way of labeling him. You know, as the White Wolf, which happens in the Black Panther Rob. Which is also where he gets the actual vibranium arm. We could take a moment to discuss how Rob is still catching up on some of or Shotgun is still catching up on some of the movies here.
How's that coming along then?
Well, seeing Infinity War.
Now,
that's solid.
Now, does that cause more questions, or does it clarify for you?
It just makes me like when everybody near the end is all like disintegrating, but then like even the Falcon here disintegrates in that movie, but now he's got his own show. That's
that's what happens when you disintegrate.
Yeah.
He disintegrated right into this show.
So you're obviously aware. You're going to have to catch up on Endgame, obviously. It's going to clarify some stuff. But you're obviously aware that a certain amount of people have come back, obviously.
Yes.
Right? And that portion between them coming back and disappearing is called the blip. The blip.
That's called the blip. Okay.
Yeah. So if they were
the Flag Smashers want to bring back the world of the blip, where the world came together as one.
Mm-hmm. So if they refer to the blip, That's what they're referring to, is that time period between those time periods is what they're talking about. So I don't know if that clarifies anything. Roughly 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which several movies take place in between there too. Yeah. Or at least one of the Spider-Mans, I think. They talk about it.
Yeah, they talk about it for sure.
Anyway, they have like a little bit of a discussion here about like Bucky's like, yeah, I mean, I've got a vibranium arm. I see an opening and I'm going to take it. And Sam's like, oh, you see one or two people? Well, let's see what Red Wing sees. Right? Yeah. And then obviously there's many more people. So it's kind of a bit of a comedic moment there where they're kind of trying to put each other in their place and stuff.
They also noticed that those guys are lifting those crates, just two people like are lifting those massive crates, and go, well, he just kind of says, yeah, they're strong. Big deal.
Yeah, I'm strong type deal, right? I don't know if we're skipping over anything important there, but there's not a whole lot happens where it's pretty much they go back and forth where Sam's kind of taunting Bucky a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch the episode and you're watching this, you're missing out.
Yeah, but I mean, we're just, if we wanted to,
I don't think we're missing anything really solid in there. Like, that's pretty.
If we wanted to show the whole episode
for the relationship.
So yeah, Red Wing notices through Red Wing that there's a person in one of the trucks, which they assume is a captive, or a hostage, right? Which you would, right? So they barrel out of there, and again, I wish I had a little bit of a clip of Bucky running out of that warehouse. And
I love the super run.
The super run is awesome and almost silly looking.
Yeah, cuts off the truck and stuff. So good.
Yeah. So he gets into the truck, which leads me to believe that the people driving the truck behind is blind.
Yeah, or they just don't. They don't care at all. Like, they give them a shit.
So
I thought that too. Like, buddy's watching you. You're not being very sneaky.
Been there a good little while, you know. So they
what was it? Medical supplies and stuff, right? Like medicines and stuff,
like serums and stuff. I think like no, it was a vaccine.
Oh, vaccines, yeah.
Vaccines. So what those vaccines are for, I don't think they really clarified so much.
No.
But then we find out that okay, calm down. All right, I'm going to need you guys to calm down.
No, it's Emphas Nest. That's a big deal. Right.
Like, one of my favorite characters.
This is the person that is found in the back here. The hostage.
The hostage.
So is really okay.
The one who saved Solo.
That's right.
All right, so clarify for me, because this is not something I'm remembering. Yes. Who is this in the Star Wars universe?
That is Emphas Nest, who went up against Solo and his little band trying to steal the whatever those fuel pods were.
Now, was this in Solo?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why, because I have not seen Solo.
Okay.
So she's like the leader of the Cloud Riders. Her name is Emphas Nest in Solo, and her and her little band are kind of like some of the original rebels that are kind of starting the rebel movement. So
okay,
just a super badass character in Solo and whatnot too. So yeah, I was excited as I saw her coming around the corner. I had to pause it while I was watching the show, and
just make sure for yourself that that's who it was, or did you just know?
Oh, I knew right away as soon as she was peeking around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is Carly. I can't say your last name. That's the character that we're seeing here. Carly Morgantha. Thu? I can't say her name at all.
Close enough.
Yeah, that's actually proper pronunciation. And she's pretty badass here.
At first, she looks pretty innocent.
Yeah, the scared little hostage.
I think that's what they
I think that's one of the appeals of her as like a badass character in Solo and in this is that she has that like almost childlike innocent look about her. Yeah. And then when she's kicking ass, it's just makes it that much more cool.
The pox and stuff, the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get a picture of her doing that smile, which I would have liked to do. I missed that opportunity. But that smile is when you really kind of realize that she's not no innocent girl, right?
No.
Yeah.
And then whoopah!
Full Sparta kick.
Yeah. Out the door. I mean, he's got to be like heavy. He's a cyborgish thing. Flying through the air.
Yeah.
You were saying shotgun?
That had to be a pretty crazy kick.
She's trained Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Smash. So this driver's just noticing this.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Or maybe that's why the driver didn't care that he was hopping into the back there.
Because there was no threat, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Right now, I just picture him putting his windshield wiper on. Right? And that's when she puts on that helmet or that mask.
What have I done?
It's the Home Alone scene.
Yeah.
So this is when she's like, okay, I'm not who you thought I was. I'm a badass. Gets up and my heart breaks a little.
Yeah. Just full smashes it.
She flies up, grabs Red Wing, and just smashes it. And then Bucky replies with like, oh, I've been wanting to do that.
Welt's having his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great scene because there goes half of Falcon's abilities or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like Red Wing was kind of carrying it up to now. So I think they maybe had to do that so that
Sam's going to have to work for it.
So Sam had to do something. Right? So they Falcon swoops in. Sam and Bucky are fighting these guys off. There's probably about, I think they say 8 of them in total. Which is not depicted here.
Well, somebody's got to drive the cars and all that stuff. Or trucks, I guess.
Truck.
You know, dangerous stuff. I don't know if you've ever been truck fighting before.
I have leapt across the top of trucks whilst they were moving, but never fighting on top of.
Yeah, it's dangerous stuff, right? Me and Rob used to do that when we were kids all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, just kid stuff.
Just kid stuff.
So the new Captain America, if you can call him that, comes to the rescue. Jumps down.
I was thoroughly impressed and slightly enjoying his entrance here as he kind of it gave me a little bit of captain vibes.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning when you realize, okay, it's just some this really good guy that they picked to be Captain America. I mean, that's what
he's not.
So they're trying to sell you on.
Like he's not supposed to at this point have any powers by any means, right? Mm-hmm. So Shotgun, feel free to jump in anytime. Yeah, you're being a little quiet there today.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much today.
So yeah, just
in reference to his and Lamar's powers, by the way, I'm curious as to whether they're going to introduce Power Broker into this stuff.
Yeah,
how they got powers or like enhanced.
Well, they do mention like Power Broker is the sounds like an organization that they're running from. So I don't know if Power Broker is going to be a character or an organization in this, but somehow Power Broker is already been mentioned, right?
Well, that's how these two guys, Lamar, Battlestar, and this dude got their heightened strengths and things. So
who's Battlestar?
Oh,
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, so they jump in, and he doesn't mention it until the next scene, but he's become Battlestar, whom you guys were saying that he actually becomes like a Bucky per se.
Mm-hmm.
So let's comic wise, before he becomes Battlestar in the comic stuff, he's Bucky. But then another African American person mentions to him that back in the day they called the male slaves bucks, so he changes his name to Battlestar. So they just skipped that process right to Battlestar for this.
Okay, so was his character the original Bucky?
No, he just went by Bucky because that was Captain America's buddy.
So in honor of Bucky type deal.
Yeah, same as this guy's fake Captain America. He was fake Bucky.
Okay, I'm satisfied. So one scene that I really enjoyed was a very quick scene, is where the shield reflects off and Bucky catches it. Not with his vibranium arm, with the other arm, which he's still like super strong, so that's a doable thing for him. Mm-hmm. But just the face he's got on when he catches that shield, like he's still not okay with what's going on here with the Captain America, right?
Yeah, but he hands it over, so
he does hand it over, but he doesn't
for a split second he must have been thinking, "I'm keeping this."
Yeah. And in another scene that we're going to show, he actually suggests stealing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that must have been crossing his mind. And now I don't know, is this foreshadowing him carrying the shield later on?
Mm.
I don't know. I still think it's unlikely. I still think it's going to be Sam. I just don't know, but we'll find out. So they get kicked off. Sam and Bucky get kicked off, and they are they've lost the trucks.
Battlestar at this point, I think, right? I think he gets kicked off. That's why he doesn't have the shield right there.
He gets kicked off, and throws the shield. Yeah, Rob.
Oh yeah.
Right, he throws the shield, and Battlestar lands on top of it and basically saves him from skidding on the road.
Yeah.
And Christmas vacation.
Yeah. Good reference.
Now this scene here got me because in the comics, old comics, Cap used a gun, I believe.
And he did in the first movie the as well.
Because I was going to say, in the movies, didn't they try to get away from that?
They did, but when he was the first part of the movie, I believe he used a gun, and then his morals developed into not using them.
That's when I saw this. It's like, oh, okay, it's not Cap. You almost had me tricked, but no.
This is when you realized it wasn't Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the feels that this isn't the same kind of beat him up but don't kill him kind of guy. Like, this is a soldier. He's an agent. He's gonna kill that guy.
The first sign that he doesn't have the same morals as Steve, right?
Or
so that happens.
Skills.
No, yeah,
I don't think he had the same skill set as Steve Rogers had. Like, he can fight, but he's not as good.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, Steve Rogers was a super soldier,
right. Like these guys are.
Yeah, and they say that just at the end of the scene, they acknowledge that they are super soldiers, or that they've had the serum. After that, they kind of walk away in defeat. And the new Cap and them try to pick him up. And at first they refuse. And again, you get a little bit more of that back and forth with Sam and Bucky, where they're talking about him being a cyborg and stuff, and how he's like, "Oh, I can see your gears turning right now," type deal. Right? So that right there, I think, is my favorite part of this episode, is the back and forth between them, like by far. So they're reluctant to get in, but they do.
Yeah.
Because they're reminded...
It's 20 miles away or something?
Yeah, they're reminded that it's 20 miles away from the next town. So they have a bit of a conversation about whether, they should work together and such. And John Walker is trying to explain that, he's not Steve. He's just trying to be the best Captain America he can be. And at this point, you almost feel like he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not, I wasn't expecting that from him at all. Right. And you get to know Battlestar a bit more.
Yeah, we get to know that he is Battlestar.
Yeah. They talk about how they've been tracking them through Red Wing.
Mm-hmm.
And how that's okay because Red Wing is government property and they're the government. So right there, you can see right off the bat that they're not, like, they're soldiers.
Yeah.
And they're government property and they know it.
And they do what they're told.
Yeah. So they're not the same as these other heroes that are just, they help because they can. They're doing a job.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what I like is when John Walker says, does he always stare like that?
You get used to what he says.
Yeah.
We're doing the staring thing again.
Yeah. Because that's pretty much all he does.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real. They have a little conversation, and it ends by them getting to their location. And I think it's Bucky who just says, "Stop the car."
Yeah, he didn't. He said something he didn't like.
It was like right after the guy said that he was Battlestar.
Yeah,
Battlestar. Stop the car.
Yeah. And then the new Captain America says something that the Falcon doesn't like, which is something along the lines of, if I could be the best Captain America I could be if I had his wingman with me.
Yeah.
Right? And he didn't like that at all.
No.
I think he's kind of pushing a little bit of power there too, like saying, "You're just a wingman." You know what I mean?
When he was entrusted with the shield, damn it.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of a power flex there. And he replies with, it's always, you always got to have the last word with something like that, or something along the lines of that. So then you clip over to this new, what is it? It's a hideout of some sort of a refugee for the bad people here.
I'm going to stop calling them the Flag Smashers and call them the Cloud Riders, and just
I'm okay with that. You see them erasing, the one guy's erasing their aliases, saying that they're onto them, they're watching type deal. And they have a bit of a motivational speech. First off, let's recognize how welcomed they are into this place. They're given home cooked meals, special beds made for them and stuff. Rob, they refer,
Shotgun and I both went to the same place. The food,
the food was.
That was the important part of that scene.
It was food, and it was home cooked, but it didn't look great. I mean,
hey, what was it? Chicken livers.
And
that's a delicacy some places. Everybody wants the chicken liver.
They didn't want it.
Yeah, you could get a sense that they didn't want it.
Let me just put the lid on the Tupperware here. Sure thing.
But I mean, they ate it. They ate it. Oh. But they refer to they say that people are referring to them as like Robin Hood, right? Like a rebellion type deal, And they have like a big motivational speech about their cause and stuff like that, and they're kind of getting all hyped up, right?
I felt like in this piece here, I don't know about anybody else, but you can almost feel for these guys because essentially what they want is
equality,
the powers that be to not be in power again like it was before the blip, and for the world to be one people,
borderless
again like it was, right? So you can almost feel for their cause, like what they want to see in the world.
Yeah, and you can sympathize to a certain point, but obviously that has to stop when they become criminal.
But if you're looking at the Robin Hood aspect, and if people are looking at them like Robin Hood, and they're stealing these vaccines and things, are they stealing the vaccines and things for
in the same manner that Robin Hood would?
For those lower quality, like lesser seen people, right?
Stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
And if that's the case, I mean,
how can you not feel the same way as that you do with a Robin Hood type character, right?
Right.
As they're doing that, you catch a good look at her phone where somebody's threatening her. It says it's an unknown call, private number. It says, obviously, you can read it here. You took what was mine. I'm going to find you and kill you. It does not appear like the rest of the crew knows about this.
No.
She hides it from them.
Yeah.
So we still don't know what she's taking.
What was that, Rob?
We still don't know what she's taking.
Yeah. Now I'm going to guess it's the vaccines. But it could be deeper or more than that. Like right now, that's the only thing we know that they have that is not theirs, right?
Well, and maybe that was like the upper crust people, right? Rob?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that the only reason I didn't think it was something to do with the vaccines because she kept it personal and didn't tell the rest of the crew. So it was more like it's something that she did and they don't know she did it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So back into the plane, and this is where where Bucky suggests stealing the shield and doing it on their own, right? Yeah. And Sam is like, remember the last time that we tried to do that? We were outlawed, like people were outlawed, and the trouble that went on with, Civil War and stuff like that, yada yada, right?
On the run for 2 years.
Yeah. So not a great idea. Right? There's got to be a better way of doing it. They still having that argument about, why one of them is not taking on the mantle, and Bucky says we've got, we need. They discuss that that they're dealing with super soldiers, and Bucky's got somebody that he needs Sam to meet, right? And we get to this point, which I think we can all agree that we kind of enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was solid. It was a straight up laugh out loud scene for me.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I love the fact that little kid's calling him the Black Falcon, and he's like, "Oh, is it because I'm black? Does that make you black, kid?"
Yeah. And the kid's like, yeah, well, I guess. Yeah.
And then his buddy's laughing at him.
Hmm.
It was just a good scene.
He's even like goes to the other kid and goes, yeah, I got him, eh? Like, just messing with the kid, right? Black Falcon. That's his new name now.
Because that's what his daddy told him.
Yeah, that's what my daddy used to call you. So
isn't that from back in the 70s too? Every black superhero was Black Falcon, Black Lightning,
Black this, Black that. Yep. You know, Black Super Soldier. Oh, see what I did there? We meet this gentleman whom I am blanking on the name. If somebody can fill that in. Does anybody remember his actual name?
Ezekiel.
Is that what it is? Okay. I blanked out on that.
I just threw that name out there.
I think you're right. I don't know if that was racist or not.
It's not.
Just to assume. I don't know.
I think that was. I feel like I heard the name, but that's all.
I think that's it. Anyway, they talked to him about his time in the war and what happened to him, and how he is essentially a super soldier and stuff. And they want to talk about it more and see how he can help. And he is not taking it well.
Nope.
Isaiah.
Yeah. It was close. You were
close. It was something biblical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isaiah. I knew that the whole time. I was just quizzing you guys. Yeah, they're talking to him about, the new super soldier characters that have entered the scene and stuff. He explains how, when he was a hero, first off, he explains how he kicked Bucky's ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? He's like, I don't know if you're here to...
He didn't admit to it, though. Bucky didn't admit to it.
He says he tears his arm off.
Just a quick jam here. We were just talking about Black Falcon, Black Lightning, etc.
Yeah, no, this is Black Captain America.
Black Captain America. Yeah.
I didn't want to get too far into his character, but at one point he does become the Black Captain America. Also, his nephew that you see coming at the door, mm-hmm. I think he inherits powers from him.
Yeah, I guess you never really kind of think about whether that super soldier serum can be passed on genetically and stuff.
I do believe in the comic books it does happen. But what we see here is him saying, okay, I ripped your arm off in the, and I only let you in to figure out whether you got your arm back or whether you're here to kill me.
He's got a little pent up anger, that guy.
Oh yeah. So Bucky says some things that get under his skin. And this is when you truly see that he's a super soldier, because he grabs this tin and he puts it in the wall.
Yeah.
And I like that moment for me was a great moment. See, I don't know if he was aged back in the day or if he had aged since slowly.
Well, they mentioned they were in a war together. I can't remember which one though.
Because he's showing some age, and I don't know whether they're insinuating that he's aged since then, or whether he was this age back then.
Because we know that Bucky doesn't age because of the cybernetic pieces, but if you look at that Captain America piece,
over time,
when he went back to where he went under the ice and then aged through time, he was sitting on the bench of that.
Over the time, he aged.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that just there's a good amount of time that's passed. All right. So I don't feel like they get what they want out of him.
I don't think they get much of anything out of him.
No, except for a little bit of aggression.
Yeah.
Maybe he needed that, I think, to toss something. Right?
Well, yeah. Sometimes
so
you got.
They don't get too much out of him except for, possibly a tin thrown at him. They leave. They discuss, well, how come nobody knew about him? Did Steve know about him? No, he wasn't told. And he discusses how he's been through enough and he didn't want to out him like that. So that's the conversation they have before they get pulled over. And if one of you guys want to take the reins here for a moment.
Yeah, I thought this scene was interesting because they're in a black neighborhood. White guy and a black guy walking down the street. Cops pull up. Oh, sir, is this guy bothering you? And like, do you not know who this guy is? Oh, Falcon. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I know. The realism in the scene and the fact that they're really, touching on the times, and I'm not to be real, to get away from the joy that is Marvel, but that Black Lives Matter that was like so prevalent right before the pandemic hit, they're really going back to that piece and bringing it back to some light.
Grimm, keep going. I'm just gonna go to the washroom for a second here. Just keep going.
Sure. I don't know how long I could talk about this. But I was really happy that they put something in that really, delved into that piece about until those cops found out that he was a superhero, they were perfectly willing to likely arrest him, take him away because he was having an argument with a white guy in the black neighborhood, and just assumed that Bucky was the one that was in the right in this whole situation. So I really liked that they touched on those racial themes, and they have been little bits through this whole series and stuff, but this scene in particular really brought it home for me. I enjoyed the scene. I thought it was a real scene. It felt
like they're really putting it in the real world, like with I need a loan to save my boat. This scene here, it's like, okay, it's not all aliens and superheroes and blowing shit up.
I think this series in particular has been doing a great job of putting those superheroes in the real world. In that boat scene that you're talking about, yeah, for sure. Like, it really got everybody thinking, wait, how do superheroes get paid? Like, why is this superhero who saved hundreds of millions of lives in different times just a broke dude, right? Like,
I'm laughing at the everybody said, oh, why did Stark pay them? Stark's the billionaire. The Avengers didn't work for Stark. They worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. So
that's right.
Blame Samuel L. Jackson.
That's right. Ain't nobody paying nobody, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, the realism of those real touches that they're adding to this particular series in the Marvel Universe is really cool. I'm like, it's one of my favorite aspects of this show is those real world drops that they add.
Mm-hmm. It makes it like so that it touches home a little bit and it grounds it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's something Marvel does really well. I think. Something I was saying about like the Justice League and the Snyder Cut, and I said as much as it's better, is that they're not making me believe the unbelievable. Where in this, they're doing more so to do so, to make me believe that this unbelievable thing is actually happening, right? And this is the sort of things that grounds the story to personal lives and stuff like that really makes things touch home. So really appreciate all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they end up arresting Bucky because he's missed his court mandated shrink session. So they went and they arrested the white guy.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a turn.
A welcome turn, I guess.
But considering the fact that you're looking at one guy that they're mistaking as a, someone who's making trouble, and then realize that he's a hero, and then they're taking a guy whom was less than a hero at one point,
But he did have a warrant out for his arrest, so
he did, and because, and it's not but because of anything that he missed his session with the therapist, right? So we get that clip over to Sam meeting the therapist, and saying, "You know what? Thanks for springing Bucky," right? And this is where we find out that she had nothing to do with that, right?
Bless you.
So
I like her.
Yeah, I do like her too, honestly. Shotgun, what happens next?
Then he basically tells her that Bucky's too important to have all these meetings. He has to come out in the field, and that they have to cut the meeting short. And she says that they don't really want to do that because he needs to get more of what he's holding inside out. But he says, you got to cut it short. He's got to come out and fight with us.
Yeah, you've realized that can't ever remember his name. John.
Would you remember better if he went by his later moniker, Jack Daniels?
Yeah, for sure. Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker.
Anyway, he's the one who's fit the bill, flexing a little bit of his military power, right? Very almost cocky about this too. So, and he does, like Shotgun said, is he says he's too valuable to be tied up in these meetings and stuff like that, right? But she does it anyway. She pulls them into one of the rooms. Not only Bucky, but Sam, whom says, "I appreciate it, but you don't need me to be in there," and she insists.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't it wasn't a request or something.
Yeah. Probably one of the best scenes in this entire show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He treats them like a marriage couple.
Yeah. She's doing some pretty basic training here, like using techniques like that they call what is it? The miracle thing. Where if they wait, is that a legit technique?
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm talking to the youth I work with and stuff, I'll use like the miracle technique or the magic wand. If you could wave a magic wand and have, anything whatever you wanted, anything changed that you could think of, what would those things be? And it really gets their minds thinking about the things, and then they'll say them so that you can get a grasp of what's wrong.
Realistically, it's bringing out their desires or whatever, right? Like what is the real problem, the real issue, right? And they both essentially say, "I wish the other would shut up."
Yeah.
So that's great. And then when that doesn't work, they Rob Shotgun, the marriage technique, the soul gazing, which this has had me fucking try not to do that. This had me just cracking up.
Oh man,
the awkwardness between them and the back and forth, just crazy. Anyone else want to portray their thoughts on this scene?
There's a little bit of much needed humor to break it up a little bit.
Yeah. I like that when they do this and she's trying to be serious about this and then she catches them in a staring contest.
Yeah. Straight
Yes.
childhood.
They're just they're being children, like you just said, right? So and like they're not quite close enough, so they have to get a little closer and they're like, Bucky's absolutely doing the whole like, oh, I love this exercise, like and stuff.
Well,
You're gonna
it's
really
all
like
about
this.
staring.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's really his go-to, right? And they're getting closer and closer and they're like, oh, you like that? Oh yeah, gotta gotta get closer.
Right knees to nuts.
Yeah. And you had to think of, I was like, is his hand on his leg? But then they do actually get into a serious topic where Bucky pretty much says, why'd you give up the shield? Right.
You know what I found interesting about that little piece is that Bucky was the one that was so resistant to the psych work in the first place. And at this point right here, you see him finally have that little tiny bit of a breakthrough about something. And it was Sam that kind of shut down.
Yep. Thanks for making it so awkward. They have a conversation where they're going at it and Sam's like, it's not really your business. Right? Like, I have my reasons and stuff like that. And then that breakthrough that you talk about is essentially, we hear Bucky say, if Steve was wrong about you, then he's wrong about me. Right? So it's deeper than just, why did you give up the shield? It's self-validation type deal, right?
Yeah. Trying to find that worth in himself and that, belief that he doesn't have that Steve did.
Yeah. And I thought, as funny as this scene was, it was a good little insight to how Bucky's feeling. Right? So, which you don't really get a lot out of Bucky. So, great scene, probably one of my favorite scenes in this episode. Actually, in both episodes, it's probably one of my favorite scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave. You get a little bit of a chit chat between the new team and the old team, where they discuss essentially how they're not going to be a team. How you guys have red tape to go through. You have rules where we're kind of free agents. It doesn't make sense for us to team up. Right?
That's where we kind of get the kicker of Johnny Walker here being a dick.
Yeah, this is the second moment where you really feel that, I think. The first, that gun, and now this, where he pretty much says, if you're not going to work with us, just stay out of our way. Stay out of my way.
Yeah.
It doesn't even include Battlestar there.
No.
Just stay out of my way.
Battlestar doesn't even know what's going on. He's just like, sup.
It's almost like, okay, there's no one watching. I don't have to be Captain America right now.
I can show my true self type deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
His true... yeah, you're absolutely right with that. He's going to show his true colors a little bit because he can at this moment. Definitely a flat out threat there. Like, don't get in my way. I gave you an offer to work with me. If not, and then I think from this point on, you're going to start to see that more and more out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the cue right there for him to start turning into who we know he should be.
I'm really looking forward to a solid little scuffle between the two factions here.
Yeah. I'm going to assume we're going to see some Falcon and the new captain and the other two fighting it off. It just seems like the right way to go with that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got what were you calling them?
Me?
Yeah,
The Cloud Rider?
the Cloud Riders. They're packing up, and the one gentleman gets a phone call, and it turns out that they are close to being caught by the what I'm assuming is the power brokers. So they have to quickly load up, and this gentleman here decides he's going to stay behind, and he's going to hold them up.
And there we have a quick noble act that again gives you the sense that these guys aren't the bad guys that we're looking for.
That you're supposed to think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He gives you the impression that he is a super soldier too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he is a super soldier.
He definitely has the strength. Is it to the point where he's going to survive what comes? Doesn't look like it. Because here we see him pushing over the telephone pole. So he's definitely got some sort of strength going on. And then he rushes the cars, and he's getting shot at and stuff. And I'm gonna say there's probably some super soldier serum in there, because he probably wouldn't have made it half as far as he did before taking a dive, and I'm gonna assume that he's dead at that point.
Yeah.
So that suggests that super soldiers can be killed in the end.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I mean, they're not completely invulnerable, so they
Steve was
get
just
taken
really
down.
talented. I think he spoils us all for the super soldier jam because Steve was so impressive just as a strategist and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand that Steve had a super soldier serum administered to him by a Stark.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably a much cleaner serum, done in a much more proper manner. Like, these are probably like what you would call your discount super soldiers,
Well, and then you got to question what kind of training do these guys have, right? Like Steve was military, so he would have had a ton of military training on top. Like, what kind of training do these guys have?
I think if you take all that into consideration, they're your B class super soldiers, right?
Oh, for sure.
So you get them, they fly away, they make it out, and then you have Steve and Steve. Okay, I had to mess up something once, a name once.
Who's here?
Steve.
Look, this is when
Steve.
Sam.
What did I call it? This is when I called it. This is when Captain Strange comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And he takes care of the whole lot. Okay. Sam and Bucky are walking away from the police station, and they're discussing how there's these super soldiers, how they're going to take care of them, and it's brought up that there's one particular person who was there back in the day when they fought before, and that they need to speak with him. Sam is reluctant at first, but then they discuss that they're going to need to go and talk to this guy.
The guy.
Mr. Baron Zemo.
Mm-hmm.
Which is supposed to be the main baddie in the series, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I thought he was the guy that in the first episode stole the money, jumped out the window, had everybody put the mask on to confuse.
So you thought that maybe authorities. He had already escaped?
Because I thought that was Zemo, and as Lord Tynerius said, Bucky's list top name was Zemo.
Yeah. Yeah, the name on the list definitely says that there's some sort of action that's going to be that he intended to make to write something. And that list being on the name meant that it was inevitable that he was going to have interaction with Zemo. Whether it meant, this moment was to come or not.
Because I think in the comics, Zemo was the head guy of the Flag Smashers with the mask. Fit the description of the guy from episode 1, so.
Yeah. But unless there's some sort of tunnel in and out of prison, I don't think that you were right about that.
No.
So we end that episode off with an appearance from Zemo and with the intention of contacting Zemo.
Which I get the idea was Hydra.
Oh, definitely. I believe they've even mentioned it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's definitely was at least Hydra. Can't say at the moment whether that will continue. I'm going to assume that he still hails Hydra. Anyway, in my opinion, this was a better episode than the first.
Yes.
In several ways. I'll say the back and forth between Bucky and Sam just killed it for me.
Yeah, so, it was a solid banter that I think I don't know if you mentioned on this cast or not, but that buddy cop duo comedy kind of.
Yeah, I think we might have talked about it earlier. But yeah, it's something that really it's reminiscent of that buddy cop kind of thing. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen like Supernatural, but it almost gives me that Sam and Dean kind of back and forth that I like in that show. Because I'm a big fan of that show too. So Rob, Mr. Shotgun.
That is Enfys Nest.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's just badass. Okay, now I've seen figures.
Yeah.
Of her in full costume, but I wasn't certain what she was from.
In episode 3, she'll be wearing this, and
yeah. There's no way around it.
Please, Marvel.
Crossover. I don't know how people would feel about that. Crossing the two worlds. They own everything now, so they can do whatever they want.
They can.
So we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. What was your final thoughts on this episode, Shotgun?
I enjoyed it. I felt like you really got a glimpse of what this new Marvel was going to be like, Captain America, was going to be like. He's just going to abide by the rules and kind of do his own thing.
Seemingly, I think, though.
Yeah. And then, the bickering back and forth, like, I kind of just wonder how Winter Soldier and Falcon are even going to get along long enough to even fight together, but that's just how it goes between those two. They, like you said before, a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, totally.
Can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah, it definitely leaves you wanting more.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll get you last thoughts from Mr. Rob Lee.
Well, I thought it was an outstanding episode. It's really starting to get into the story, so really looking for. I can't remember how many episodes it is.
I think 6. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think 6.
So pretty good. And something that Grimm there said earlier, all these Marvel shows go to Ant-Man here. How's the MCU? Oh, Tony died. So did Natasha. Cap's gone. but we all got TV shows.
Yeah.
Great little meme there. I like that. I don't know the actor there, his name, but I absolutely love him in those movies.
Yes.
The sidekicky guy there, I don't know what his name is, in or out of show.
No, yeah, he's great in all the shows he's in.
I think he's great. I think he brings a lot of value to those movies. So, thank you there, Rob, for that bit of humor. Rob Lee's moment of humor on the Nerdychat show. Last but not least, I guess I can have a say, but I've kind of expressed that through the whole show. So we'll leave the last but not least, Mr. Grimm himself.
Just
okay. That's all we've got today. Go ahead.
Bye. Have a good night. I think they're off to an amazing start. Like, I mean, with these first 2 episodes, and it amped up both those episodes. I'm super excited to see what's coming next for sure. I'm excited to see if Battlestar there gets his own shield, because I believe he does wield a shield at some points in the comics and stuff. I'm just excited to see what happens next, and I'm excited for more Enfys Nest.
Well, I don't know what your head's doing there. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, something happened.
Your head just went like super. Yeah. Rob, everybody's doing it.
I'm just twitching out.
I don't know if that's on the real stream or just on our end, but if it was on the actual stream, I hope you enjoyed that little rehearsed dance that we did.
Yep. We rehearsed it.
Sorry to cut you off there.
That's okay.
Continue, please.
I didn't have anything else to say. I'm just excited to see the Cloud Riders and Enfys Nest in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that in the casting stuff, when I've been just doing a bit of reading and stuff, she's listed for all 6 episodes. So it kind of feels like she's going to be around for the whole jam.
Now, do you feel like she is going to be the flag smasher, the character, a gender swap?
She could be. I mean, and then my curiosity comes as to whether if Zemo's behind that whole flag smasher movement stuff and all these kinds of pieces, and because we know that those criminal masterminds, jail doesn't stop them from strategically moving pieces on the battlefield. If she turns on him, or if the rest of the flag smashers turn on him and continue kind of their Robin Hood themed jam or what.
So that's
I'm excited to see what goes on for sure.
Yeah, I truly believe that they stepped it up in this episode because, like I said, and I think you guys can agree, I actually enjoyed this episode much more than the first one, which is absolutely not always the case in these shows. Sometimes they start off with a bang, and then they kind of slow down a bit, and I don't think that's the case with this one. I think they kept momentum, and that's great.
For sure.
So
I agree.
Anyway, again, we've succeeded to overshoot the hour that I shoot for these, which is perfectly fine, because if you're having fun on the nerdy chat, then you just keep nerdy chatting, right?
That's always having fun.
Always having fun. All right, but we don't want to keep you guys too long because we know your time is valuable. Go ahead and check out the first one if you haven't. Bit of a weird order if so. But go ahead and like that just smash Thor smash with Mjolnir. The
that was pretty
subscription button.
That was pretty cool in Infinity War when Groot made his own arm into the Axe's hand. Like, that was so cool.
Yeah. Isn't it so cute? Movie. It's so cute how like he's just enjoying this now, and he's like, "Oh, it's so," and we're like, "When did that happen?"
Oh, that was like so long ago.
Like
No,
that
the
was
movie was action packed from
was that
the
12 movies
beginning
ago?
to the
yeah. I
that?
literally had to go back and be like, "Okay, did he snap? Did he snap at the end of that movie?" And then what happened here and there? Because I didn't want to give away anything that I didn't necessarily have to. So, Rob, again, it's your solid duty to watch more Marvel movies. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to this community. Okay? This is your homework, and don't disappoint us.
I'm doing
All
it.
right?
Like 9 more.
Only 9 more movies, and
You're almost there.
And we're caught up in a 20-year movie stretch of movies. So, anyway, again, like I said, hit the subscribe, do some likey things, comment, share with your friends, and hit the notification button so you don't miss us next time, because we will be back next week with another Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I believe, Chris, if I'm not mistaken, do we have another show coming up?
Oh, yeah. We're going to kick it over to another Teenage Mutant Ninja story while we're in the process of waiting for Ronin 3. It's a little ditty about Jack and Diane. No, it's a little ditty about Raphael.
about Raphael.
That's right.
And the Casey Jones.
That's right. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so that's a one shot that we're gonna take care of next week, next weekend, I believe. And if we're still waiting, we'll try to find another TMNT related one shot to do, and we'll continue to try to do that until the next issue comes out, which we're super excited about. Another thing we've got coming up with Mr. Rob Lee down here is the very last episode of Middle West coming up in, I think, 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks, yeah.
We took a little bit of break because we're all tired. We're all so tired. And we'll be finishing that up, and then we'll be discussing what we will be carrying on with that series. So, again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and thank you all in the live chat, and thank you all on the replay if you made it this far. You are genuinely nuts.
No.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye now.